Alright, so here we are. So, last time we set up a whole bunch of these, and then we also, in an effort to make our whole money situation more efficient, we set up these things over here, which produce some of the parts that we need on site instead of importing like nearly finished products. It's more money efficient this way. However, if you look, you see, well, you can't see right now because the ship just showed up, but we have a bit of a Technomrod problem, and I've tried to address that on the galactic market, and it seems very difficult to do. So, first, actually, before we do anything else, we can pay off a large chunk of our debt, and I'm just going to go 800,000 off, and boom, debt tax is much lower now, which means we are going to make even more money. But the other thing we need to do is, first of all, I think we may have maxed out our market trade route capacity again. Yeah, so we just have to get even more hangars. And click. Alright, so we just have to keep doing that and keep buying more ships. Because we're trying to increase the amount of stockpile we have of all the various things so that it can actually like not run completely empty when there's a gap between shipments, which is what's happening now, see? But it is very difficult. So I have Technomrods, target amount set to 8,000. Technomrods, target amount, Technomrods, total capacity is 8,000. So that's as best as we can do right now. And then let's also make sure to do that upgrades. And then the other thing that we can do to help this out is, of course, to just make Technomrods. So that instead of having to import them from the space station, we can just make them manually here. Which is what I'm going to do. So let's get a setup for that. It's going to involve the blast furnace, which is exciting, but also something that I don't really know what I'm doing with. So let's just make a big ol' space. And of course, this is going to infinitely put a bunch of pressure on the Technum ore rubble supply, but we'll deal with that later. So we have all that space. Then we need 2 medium shipping pads, at least. Possibly more. And then we're going to need all of those parts for the blast furnace base. So let's head over here. Oh, I need to grab more jetpack fuel. I'm quite low, aren't I? I'm not that low. It'll be fine. So I need 600 concrete, 600 steel beams, 300 advanced machinery parts. Alright, so this should be concrete, advanced machinery, or steel beams, advanced machinery parts. The concrete is going to be way over here. And I'm also going to need to grab a whole bunch of those. Just while I'm passing through. Alright, where is the concrete? Here it is. So let's grab those and craft a blast furnace base. And we're going to need, like, some of this other stuff, probably. Let's actually open the guide and blast furnace. So you need 3 different types: air intake, hot air stove, and the blast furnace itself. Alright, so we've made the blast furnace, so we need the air intake and the hot air stove. So that means more electronic components and steel beams. And that's xenoferrite plates and steel beams. Alright, let's head over there and grab those then. I hope we only need 1 of each. It would be annoying if it's like, oh, you need 2 hot air furnaces or something. Alright, which one of these? So those are the machinery components which we need. We need steel beams, electronic components, and xenoferrite plates. Alright, so we can make the hot air stove. And then we need some plates. Also, apparently we're manual crafting the electronic components for all of this, which is not the fastest process in the world. Air intake. Done. Alright, so we have all that. Then we go over here. And we, I guess, see. So the air intake isn't that big. The hot air stove is pretty big. And the blast furnace itself is very big. Yep, unsurprising. And of course the shipping pads are also very big. We're going to need to make even more space there. Alright, so blast furnace goes in. And let's see. Air intake, I guess we can just plop down somewhere around the vicinity. And hot air stove, I guess we can also put somewhere around there. Alright. So the air intake simply draws in air, the hot air stove heats up the air, and the blast furnace consumes hot air, coke ignium, metal, and mineral rock. Yeah, this seems like it's gonna be a whole product. Alright, so we need coked ignium as fuel, which is just 2 ignium ore in an advanced smelter. So we're gonna need all of these, what are they called? Probably even more shipping pads than we got. Also, we need to set these up, right? Open modular building planner. Attach tower. Attach vent. 2 vents and a utility panel. Alright, what if I just make all of these vents? Just because that seems like a reasonable thing to do. Alright, so we have that. So that is, I guess, going to be under construction now. Very cool. Then we have this, which requires a tower, an HVG module, that's the power source. Input pipe attachment. Alright, it does need a burner module. That seems unnecessary. Needs an output pipe attachment. And I guess we put another tower in. Like that. And sure. I don't know what ratios we're going to need for all this. We're just going to get them started up and see what happens. So this should theoretically work at some point. And then we have the blast furnace itself, which seems very complicated. Oh boy, yeah, this sure is complicated. So then we need at least one tower, and potentially multiple, so let's put in 2. Then let's put in that, and that, and a conveyor attachment input. Let's just have a couple of those, why not? And then we need pipeline attachments and pipe attachments. Alright, that's probably fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Do I have any idea what I'm doing? No, not the slightest. But we're just going to tell it to do that and see what happens. Now, theoretically, I do have construction drones that, like, do construction stuff. So maybe that will start. Is that it there? Yeah, that looks like the guy over there. Yep. Alright, so this is happening now. Very cool. I still have no idea how this even works. So that's fun. In the meantime, we seem to have finished the hangar upgrade, so let's buy some more Tier 2 cargo ships. And onto the market trade route you go. And upgrade all the product qualities. And that should be fine. We are a little bit poor at the moment. We only have 100,000 Firmalite in the bank, so we're not going to be able to do much more. But hopefully this all gets set up and works the way that I think it does. Because I really genuinely have no idea what, like... This is very vague, right? So it's most efficient when it's constantly producing. And, okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll just see what happens. And if we need, like, another air intake or something, or we need to make the blast furnace even bigger, then we can do that. But for now, hopefully that this is enough. Okay, I also do need to see, because I might be low on construction material. I hope I'm not, but it is possible. Because I don't know how, because this uses a ton, right? And I only have the one warehouse. So, okay, this has construction material of 25,000. So that should be more than enough. Yeah, and these are producing more. Alright, I assume it'll be fine and it'll all just work. If not, then we might have an issue. I'm going to go, and while we wait for that to cook, I'm going to go and restock on jetpack fuel. Now, I think I read somewhere that the blast furnaces costs a huge amount of power to run, so that might be an issue. We might need to expand the solar power farm even more. Alright, let's get over here. This factory still exists. Looks like it's mostly crashed at this point. I mean, all the belts are either going to be filled or emptied. Nothing there is going to be running. We can go over here and turn this Olymite bit on temporarily. Alright. So let's just grab another 2 stacks of those, and back to having enough jetpack fuel forever. Alright, and over we go. Over we go, up over the mountain. And yeah, these are clearly just still working. We might need more construction drone starting points or whatever they're called. But it'll probably be fine. This seems to have finally backed up somewhat. So we should have all the circuit boards we'll ever need. And once that fills up, it'll stop demanding all of my electronic components, and then hopefully those can balance out. I do think, in the meantime, I do need this to be larger, but like I can't even deal with the rods as we have them. But for the sake of optimism, let's add a couple onto there. I actually think that this won't do anything, because I think this uses the full belt. But if it does do something, then it would be nice to have it. Then these all output onto that. Then we need more of these, and I'll just put in another 10, because that's how many assemblers I have in my inventory. So this expands out this way. And that goes out that way, and comes back. Alright, we're going to need more loaders for this. Alright, so these all go in. Then we get the outputs, which will be fine. Can I just craft some loaders just temporarily so that I have them? I'm still going to have to head back and restock on them, but it would be nice to do that after I finish this expansion as opposed to before. Alright, I think I messed up. Do these all have an output? Sorry about that. Did not see that one coming. Alright, so then we just bring this along. And all of these get inputs. And now we should make electronic components even faster and drain our Vortectum rod reserves even faster. Alright, so we have that. So that is still not a full belt, but it's closer. Alright, meanwhile, over here. Alright, this seems to have finished. And yeah, it's definitely finished. So we need to give it a grid connection, and hopefully that will also tell us then what to even do with it. So we need to convert to the small power poles for this. Get rid of that annoying cactus. Alright, so power poles come over this way. And I want to leave some space over there, because that's where we're going to be putting our, whatchamacallit, our shipment inputs. Alright, so we have this. And we have that pipeline output. Alright, this is 34% done. And this is not started yet. Alright, well, that's probably fine. Alright, is there any other... Can I get the stupid rods faster, like, through the galactic market in any way other than just expanding storage, buying more stuff, etc.? Alright. Buy another cargo ship. Alright, so it's set to do recurring market orders, but it isn't, which means that we are currently handling all of them. And we're back down to not that much money again, which is a shame. So this is 56% done, with most of the construction material delivered already. This has not even started. Okay, let's see if I can... Somewhere over here, there is... Transport ship port. So I need steel beams and polymer boards. So let's grab the steel beams from over here. Alright, those are not the steel beams, these are the steel beams. Alright, and the polymer boards should be right here. So let's get another one of these and put it just like over here somewhere, I guess. Alright. Transport ship port in. And we need more power poles. There and in. Alright, so that should help. That's literally doubled our number of transport ships. which should make this go a lot quicker, hopefully. Don't really know how that works, but there we go. And then this is almost done. And we're gonna have to use pipelines for this, unfortunately, which means we're gonna have to go over there and grab them and figure out what they do and how they work. So let's head over here. And hopefully I haven't messed this up just by placing them in an awkward spot where they don't fit into each other. That would be a shame. Alright, what was I looking for? I've already forgotten. Pipelines, right, pipelines. Yes, those. Alright, those are going to be back here somewhat, I think. And... gosh, where? There. Alright, let's grab 150 of them. And make our way back over here. Alright. Here we are. Oh, I see an empty belt. Is that the teleexcite? Yeah, it's probably the teleexcite. That belt is basically always empty just because of how it works. Alright, and this has been finished. And we need to give it a grid connection. So there we go. So how does this even work? So that's the air input. These seem to be decorative. That's hot air output. Hot air output. Alright. So... how do I get this over here? Is there even enough space? No, but there is enough space up for this top one. So let's bring that. And actually, we should bring this one up. They're not quite on line with each other, which is a little bit awkward. Alright, so let's push that back some. And you get a corner and another corner. Gosh, this is not gonna work at all, is it? Okay. How do we fix that? So what we can do, I guess, is like go this way and then curve around. And then curve again, and now is it all lined up perfectly? No, it's not even tall enough to begin with. Alright. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of this at all. So we go that way. We curve around this ridiculous little corner. And then we finish. And that's what I was worried about. Okay. I have a solution. And it should work nice and easily. So that, I think, needs to go back. So this one needs to curve over this way. And then come along. And then these can just meet up over here. Alright, we got there. So that is one pipeline down. And this is only 14% done. That's pretty terrible. But if we at least start that, it's outputting 162,000 liters of air a minute. This can take 64,000. Okay. So I guess we just turn those off. Yeah, we're gonna have to like figure out the numbers for all of this. Like how much each vent gives. And then how much we want. This is a whole complicated thing, isn't it? Yeah, this is not just like slap down a building, put some pipes into it, and be done. Which is unfortunate. Alright. Is there any... I don't think there were any numbers shown, at least usefully, when I was setting it up. And we were going to have to wait for the whole blast furnace to finish. Which is apparently taking forever before that can get started up. Alright, let's do another cargo bay upgrade because we apparently just need 1 billion of these. And eventually the cargo bay will be large enough that it can manage to feed all of this. But it's going to need to be very large to do so. So fortunately this is all backed up. And the circuit boards are filled, right? Yeah, circuit boards are filled. And electronic components are actually getting there. That is a good sign. Once the electronic components fill up, this won't be an infinite black hole of technim rods. Although, the fact that we keep upgrading the storage probably isn't helping that all that much. But it needs to be done. And the annoying thing is I still don't even know like what components specifically go into all of this. Like obviously the ore and the air, and it mentioned something else like fuel, but it's not specific. Alright, so this is all just going along. It's all just going along very slowly. In the meantime, I know what I can do. I need to start setting up Thermalite sheet production on a larger scale. Like my current production system for Thermalite sheets is somewhat embarrassingly low. Let's put those in the hotbar. And we're gonna need a lot of Thermalite sheets to create all the different types of bots that we want. And those should be... I could have sworn they were somewhere around here. Maybe they're on this side? Yeah, they're on this side. Alright, so we head down this elevator down to the lava cave. And we're not going to be placing lava smelters, but we are going to be blowing up some terrain to make a nice clear space for a whole bunch of lava smelters. We're just going to be seeing how well a stack of 50 explosive charges even does. Alright, so we're out here. Then we just throw that. And kaboom. Seems to work quite nicely. Gonna have to be careful not to miss little spots like that. But yeah, this is fantastic. I love this. So we can just turn all of this into nice, clean space. And it's not perfect just yet, but we're getting the general gist. It's gonna need to be taller than that probably, but just gonna clear out just like the general vibe of the space with this pack of explosives. So let's just throw them all over the dang place. Careful not to accidentally blow up any of my machines, of course. Alright, then get even more space cleared over here. Then we need to clear out that. And that. And let's clear that little bit out. Alright, that is pretty good. I mean, that was just half of the charges we have. So now let's work on getting rid of these little hanging bits. Because obviously we need to be building stuff there. Have that. And let's get rid of that. Gosh, this is going to be so much more space efficient than all the horrible mess we have to do over there. We're going to have to catch all these little scraps, of course. But yeah, this should be a nice, clear spot. Now let's focus on getting the scraps out of the way. Way less efficient on my charges. Alright, that one, and that one, and that one. Alright, we have a relatively sizable lava lake here, which, if I can just chop this one out, will be even larger. And get rid of these scraps here. And just that. And that. Alright, so when we come down to build our Firmalite sheets, we can put a bunch of stuff in there. Nice and simple. Now we head back up. And hopefully the blast furnace will be done, or at least close to done. Alright, up we go. It's nothing quite as satisfying as just throwing around a whole bunch of explosives. Back. And where on earth are we even? Blast furnace is over this way. Cargo bay extension is almost done. That's nice. I'm gonna put in another one, I think, just immediately afterwards. Actually, probably not. Probably just gonna be fine with that. And upgrade some of the bots to get me more profits. Instead, I should probably just put in one of those to make construction faster. This is still going. They're building along. And 54% done. All the materials have been supplied. So that is progress, at least. Nice to have some progress. The electronic components over here still desperately need the improved Technon rods. So currently we can upgrade the storage again to 9,000 for these. And that should keep those going. And storage for electronic components and circuit boards are doing quite well. But that's what you want to see. So hopefully once this starts backing up, it won't consume every single Technon rod we ever import. Pretty optimistic that it should be almost done with constantly staring at this, waiting for it to start working. Although not quite yet. We really need more Technon rod supplies first. There goes another 1,500. So that's going to be coming down now. And boom, lands. All right. And then all of these start up again. It uses them really quick now that I have so many of these assemblers in. Let's check how this is going. Up to 61%, which is slower than I would like, but still reasonably quick, I guess. Oh, construction ship port. That's something that I need to make more of. Right, so somewhere around here I have the maintenance drones. Then I need to grab some energy cells. And yeah, that is the thing that's taking so long. Not getting the resources there. Alright, energy cells, energy cells, energy cells. Where are you? You're going to be earlier than that, right? Energy cells. Don't see them in here. Might be later. Yeah, here's them coming off of a belt. Oh no, this is the container for them. Alright, construction ship port. So we're going to get that, and we're going to put it over there once we also grab some more building blocks. And also some assemblers, and need a whole bunch of these. Basically let ourselves get completely empty of those. Alright, let's make a construction ship port. Should be enough space there. Yeah, it's plenty of space actually. Alright, then we just have to bring the power over to it. And off you go. Construction site is at 70% already, and now that it's got a second construction ship, should be super quick. Alright, so that is that. We are once again up to 500,000 Thermalite. Let's see what else I can buy. The spaceships are doing fine. We have a spare. So there's no need to upgrade those at this exact moment. And power is doing fine. Cargo bay is doing fine. I guess we can just buy more market licenses for, like, I don't know, some of this stuff. Gotta wait for the construction drone improvement first. I wonder if that improves these construction drones as well. Up to 77%. We're definitely getting there. Definitely getting there. Hopefully we will have an at least technically functional blast furnace relatively quickly. Although I suspect that I need to do some other stuff in order to get this to work, and I don't know what that other stuff is because the guide is somewhat vague. Alright, so in here we have all of these recipes which are obviously no good. We need molten xenoferrite to make xenoferrite plates, molten technum to make technum rods. There's no fancy tier 3 steel option, unfortunately. Alright, up to 84%. We're definitely moving along right quick now. This is still doing its thing. I would have thought that it would have at least started backing up by this point. No, we're actually further behind on electronic components than we have been in a while. Alright, R&D lab. Snack bot upgrade. Let's buy a couple of those to make the research even faster. Because why not? Alright, and this is up to 92%. And should be done any minute now. Any minute now. It really is not especially quick. goes another shipment of Technum rods. Soon we will be producing them en masse, so that will be fine. It'll also save a lot of money, probably. I'm assuming it will anyway. Alright. 98%, and it's going to be done in just a couple seconds. Really tall. Really, really tall. Right, there it is. So we have raw resource inputs up here. Blast furnace not activated. Operating mode. Technum. Start. So we need technum ore, coked ignium, mineral rocks, and a whole lot of hot air input. And let's see, this is 800 technum ore to 7,200 liters of molten technum. And 15 molten technum makes 5 rods. Alright, this seems very efficient then. Assuming that I'm doing the math right, and that's actually what that means. Alright, so we just need to get technum ore, coked ignium, and mineral rocks. Which is going to need another shipping pad, which we need to make. Let's grab some electronic components along the way. Electronic components, and then we need to grab concrete. So the concrete is over here somewhere. Alright, so we have all that. Then you can put in one of those. And then we need steel beams and advanced machinery parts for the last one, which are going to be back here. And machinery parts, steel beams, make another medium shipping pad. Alright, so we need those go in all the way up here. So we need to basically build the platform all the way up there. Alright, is this the right layer? Yeah, it is. Let's build out a whole giant platform like so. Is this even big enough? Technically they stick over the edge, but that's fine. Alright, so that gets 2 of them. Then this needs a 3rd input for mineral rocks. And we're going to need more building blocks to fit that in. And then the output is going to go somewhere, but I think we have to set up like a whole giant set of casting machines for that. So let's just grab all of those and get enough space for another medium input. Alright, so we have that. And then that goes in there. Alright, now we just feed those in and in. And in. And it's, I've forgotten already. It's technum ore, coked ignium, and mineral rocks. I need to actually buy the recipe for coked ignium. Market office. Coked ignium. And let me buy that. Thank you. Alright, so this is space station to factory. Technum ore. Is it technum ore rubble or technum ore? It's actually... I need to check that. It's technum ore, because of course it is. Huzzah! Alright. Which means we're going to need to buy the input for that as well. Which I could crush the rubble here, but that seems like a lot of work to be doing in this particular spot. So we're going to have to buy that input as well. And then we need to attach the hot air. 243,000 liters of hot air needs to get attached. And this only makes 64,000 liters. So we need more towers, I guess. So let's dismantle that, I guess. And now we're going to have to remove the rubble and build it, but bigger. Alright, I guess here come these. They're going to remove the rubble, and then we can rebuild it. It'll be faster since we have 2 construction drones this time. We're not in a huge rush since we need to wait for these purchases of coked ignium and technum ore to finish as well. And we're going to have to set up another similar thing for xenoferrite ore. That'll be fun. And then we're going to have to set up, probably do the vein core mining thing for this. Because buying all of this stuff off the market is going to take ages. And let's see. These are all fine, obviously. Alright, coked ignium purchase is finished. Now we need to get technum ore, which is obviously quite cheap by comparison. So we do that. And we add a new recurring order of coked ignium, which is fortunately very cheap. Alright, so let's set that as like 2,000-ish. Let's see, it takes 6 minutes. Actually, we can do the math here. So it takes 6 minutes for this to go. And we need 400 a minute, which means we need 2,400 total. Yeah, so we actually need to set this to more like 4,000. Alright, so we have that set. Meanwhile, this is still going. So the rubble is getting removed. Seems to be. That's what these guys are here. Is that counting down or up? It's counting up. So we're like 99% done removing the rubble, I guess. That's pretty good. And apparently that gets like recycled back into construction material or something. Not that that's a huge concern for us, but will be nice. Alright. It's gotta be almost done now, right? 10 more rubble to remove. And, alright, all rubble removed. Now the construction ships come along and start dismantling it, I guess. Alright. We are learning all sorts of fun things today, including how to dismantle a construction site. It would really be nice if this were like a quicker process. Alright. Looks like dismantling at least is relatively quick. So let's add a whole bunch of towers onto this. And I really wish it would say, you know, how much we need. So that gets the top part. You get the HVG module. The bottom one doesn't even need the pipe attachment because we can't reach it down there. So let's put that in. And gosh, I hope this works. Start construction. I really hope that this doesn't have more problems. Alright, so now we have all of these. We can go space station to factory, Technum ore. Don't use small cargo ships. Just use medium tier 2s. Oh, and I have to actually put the market order in for probably like 4,000 Technum ore. Minimum amount by 1,000, and off you go. So we have Technum ore, check. We have coked ignium, check. And we have mineral rocks, check. Alright, currently no spaceship inbound. So we have mineral rocks. Those have made it in. We don't have the ignium yet. But it shouldn't be too far off. Yeah, just a minute away from that. So is the problem planetary shipping? How many medium cargo ships do we have on planetary shipping? Apparently just almost 0. If we have any, I can't find them. So we're going to grab 2 more of you. And planetary shipping. Oh, that's minimum amount to move 5,000 items. That's the problem. Alright, so you don't need to move 5,000. You can move 1,000 items at a time, probably. And you can do the same. And you can do the same. And we might have to upgrade these later, but that's fine. So that's 18% done. This is still working. The mineral rocks are here. The coked ignium is here. Technum ore is not. Alright, so we're filling up a hopper here. So that's cool. Not many mineral rocks needed. Got plenty of that. Oh gosh. Are these like our only options as outputs? Please say I put some on a different side. I did not. Well, that's not good. So we can fit the pipes in. We can probably not fit the pipelines in. Alright, easy solution to this is just move this back a bit. Stop construction. Dismantle. Alright, then you go all the way back here, where we will have enough space to do stuff with the pipes. Alright, then we set you up and give all the towers. Alright, then that's the maximum amount of towers. Then we put that in. Alright, then we put those in. Input and output. And start construction again. Hopefully for the last time. So the air vent can produce enough air, right? So this is 162,000. This needs 243,000. So we also need to make just a second air vent, because I think that one's maxed, right? So let's get a bit more space over here. And more xenoferric plates for another air intake. Gosh, this whole situation has been sort of stumbling blind here. Alright, second air intake. And we pop it down. Just anywhere, really. And you get a tower. And a whole bunch of vents. And a utility panel. And you don't need that many vents, right? Because we're just barely over. But just to make absolutely sure that no funny business happens, we'll put in the max number of vents and start construction. Alright. Surely this will work this time. We're not going to have any more weird problems. It's just going to work. Alright. The Technum ore just showed up. That's nice. Alright, so that all feeds in, and then the output. So we set this output to slag and this output to molten technum. And then I guess hopefully we do something with that. Also, where's the input? Where do you put the hot air in all of this giant mess? I do not know. Because both of these are outputs, right? Alright, if I open the planner, we definitely have 2 pipeline attachment inputs. Oh, got it. So the pipeline attachments are inputs, the pipe attachments are outputs. So we put... Oh, fell off. So we put the hot air in here, and we get the slag out there, and the molten technum out there. So I guess we can start building the setup to deal with the slag. So let's get a whole space over there. And what do you do with the slag? So you can make cement, right? Or you can probably just like flare stack it or something. There's something that it said that you could do with it. Used in concrete production or be recycled. Recycled into what exactly? None of these say recycle into slag. Can you maybe... Yeah. I have no idea. Is it in metallurgy? No, none of those. Alright, we're just gonna make it into concrete production and then I guess just destroy the spare concrete. Or destroy the spare cement, rather. So we need chemical processors. It's an ore vein miner, casting machine, chemical processor. So we need some stuff for that. Which I've already forgotten. Circuit boards, steel beams. And probably a lot, because we're probably going to need more than one. Alright, so let's grab some steel beams, then we head over here, and we grab some circuit boards, and we make 10 chemical processors for now. Alright, then we place one down. And why do you say no power? We definitely have power, right? Is this whole thing... Oh, this whole thing isn't technically connected up to that. Alright, I can fix that. Drag mode, vertical. Become connected. Alright, cool. Didn't realize that was a thing. So we can do slag reprocessing, which is 180 slag into 5 cement. How much slag does this make? 800. Alright, so we get 180 per machine. So that's 360. What, 540? Need some more space. And then that's going to be 180 times 4 is just less than 800, so we need one more. Alright, so that's all in. And that should deal with all of our slag, turn it into cement. So we take this. We're going to corner it over this way. Bring it along here. And we need it to go into these. So let's start by hooking them all up. Then attaching that in. Alright, then this just comes up. Okay, that is not high enough. We need at least one more up. And then this is high enough. So now we go here, we go around the corner. Alright, so that's that. Now we have to take our cement and merge it all up. So these all get outputs in all of these spots. The air stack is finished building, that's good. Alright, now we need to deal with it permanently. So we need a logistics container to store a whole bunch of it. And then we actually need this to be set up like that so that it prioritizes going into the container. There's going to be this whole weird loop thing going on, but that's fine. Then, if that fills up, it just goes into a couple of incinerators. And how much do these do? 3 seconds per item. What does 3 seconds per item even mean? No idea, but it's gonna be like 20 per minute, right? Yeah, so these two can handle 40 per minute. These 5 produce 25 per minute, so that should deal with the slag forever. Alright. So that's that. Now we just need to... Well, we're going to need to set up the actual, like, intended output as well. But we're also, most of all, going to need to get this pipeline over here. Like that. And then corner. And then in there. Alright. And we're going to need to hook up that to the power grid as well. So now this is 108 1,000. Which still isn't enough. Can I, like, change the rate on this or something? Alright, it'll be fine. Alright, so those two are set, filtered properly. So we're going to need even another one of these in order to deal with this. Like, that was the maximum size tower, and it's apparently not enough. So let's grab even more building blocks and set up another tower. So this goes out like that. And we go hot air stove base. And place another one in. And that can line up with the last one. And get a whole bunch of towers. Alright, then we get the top. Then we get the pipeline attachments. And finally the HVG module. And start. So then we're going to need to put in a T intersection on this pipeline, which should be large enough. That T intersections, and that just fills that up. Alright, then we need to attach this thingamabob in. So that goes up and up. I don't know, up to somewhere around there. Then we need to T intersection over here as well. Hopefully lined up perfectly with that. Alright, now we need... Is that lined up perfectly there? Looks like it. Alright, so then we get T intersection. That piece goes in. That comes along there. And corner. Alright. Almost done. Now we just power that on. And we're going to have to power this one on once it's finished. And then we're going to need to also hook this up. Which fortunately we can see where the attachment point is. So we can just do that now, I guess. So this comes out to there. Then curves and goes in there. Alright. Now we come around here and get some pipelines. They come out to there, probably. Actually, you just need a T intersection immediately, right? Okay, so then we pop that in. So then this goes all the way over there. in there. Then this comes over this way. I think that is lined up properly, although it's hard to tell. Gosh, I thought regular pipes were annoying. Pipelines are somehow much worse. Alright, we need this to... It actually just has to be a corner, right? So that corner goes in there. Then this comes along this way. Then it corners up. And attaches in. So that should be the hot air supplied. And the slag dealt with. That's still being constructed. And it says, warning, not all pipe connections have a set filter, but I think that is false. I think I have, in fact, set filters for molten technum and slag. So now we just take this out. I think what I want to do is go like one over there. And then send this over this way. And then corner here. Alright, no, apparently we can't go over like that. So we need to get another little bit of height. That should be good enough. Now we can corner over this way. And this is done in casting machines, where we take the molten technum and make the rods. So let's get a whole bunch of those. Casting machines, casting machines, casting machines. There they are. We need advanced machinery parts. So let's head on over there and grab those. And bonk my head into the ceiling. Advanced machinery parts, check. We need more steel beams as well. Make a whole bunch of them. Get some random junk out of my inventory. Don't need that. I don't need to be carrying 2 freight elevators around. Or 2 maintenance drones. Alright, so we have all of those. Now we head over here. And we have our casting machines. Which these are the ones where you place them sideways like this for best efficiency. So let's just place one in. And you get to make technum rods. That's 120 molten technum a minute for 40 technum rods a minute. So let's just place a whole bunch of these, I guess. So if these are making 40 technum rods a minute, and I want to get 1280 because that's a full belt's worth, I have to take out the old calculator, and 1280 divided by 40 is 32. So I need 32 casting machines. which I guess we're just going to craft all of these then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to need even more after this. 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is half of a belt. So I guess we can actually confirm how much molten technum this is. So 120 per thing times 16. Let's do the math again. 120 times 16 is 1,920. How much molten technum does this make? Where even is the pad? It's here. 7,200. So we're going to be making more than a full belt out of this then. I guess we should probably use all of it because that's maximum efficiency. So 7,200 divided by, what was it, 120 is going to be 60, which is going to be almost, but not quite, 2 full belts of Technon rods. Yeah, this is pretty efficient. So let's make more casting machines. We need advanced machinery parts and electronic components. Let's grab some of those. And grab some of those. Then grab some of those. And sure, let's just craft as many of them as possible. Then go back over here. All right, the second air heater has been built, so let's power it on. And I think theoretically we have everything hooked up, right? So the one thing I want to do is just get a very basic output here, because I want to actually use this so that it doesn't immediately run out, or it doesn't immediately fill up specifically. So that all of these go in. We're going to start with just this and then expand once we confirm that this is working. So all those go in. This comes across. Massive pipes there. Then all of these get their outputs. And no, not there. Like this. And we're not going to be able to realistically incinerate all of these technomods if they overflow. But that's something we'll deal with later. For now, let's get that in there and fill it in and have it, I guess, buffered by a logistics container which gets an input, an output, and may as well have a second output there. Alright, so we tell this factory to space station technomods. And absolutely only medium cargo tier 2 ships. So this should do all that. Except I've built these backwards, haven't I? This entire thing does nothing. Cool. Wonderful. Alright, so now we have to build these like this. So all of these go on. Then this gets stretched across. And now we just have to hook this into that pipe up here. So this goes above like that. Then it just comes down. And that becomes a T intersection. Like that. Alright, so this is now all hooked up and ready to go. So we just need to start turning it on, right? So start and start. Then we go over here and we start you up. And we start you up. That sounds like it was doing something, and then we go over here, and this is set to be enabled. Temperature insufficient hot air. But why? Why is there insufficient hot air? Is this not hooked up properly, or what? So that's utilization 0%. That's utilization 0%. So this pipeline has inputs but no outputs. Why not? Did this like not hook up for some reason, or what? Required hot air 243,000 liters. If this is still not enough. Oh my god, this is 108,000, which means we actually need 3 of the dang things. Alright, this is ridiculous. This is officially ridiculous. Alright. Well, I guess we just have to build it. So we need concrete, steel beams, and advanced machinery parts. So let's head over here. Alright. Steel beams. Advanced machinery parts. Now we just need to grab the concrete, and then this will finally be done. The sheer amount of hot air that this requires is insanity. And I'm pretty sure I didn't build the largest possible one. Pretty sure I could have gone bigger if I wanted. Alright, so we grab the concrete, make another one of you. And throw some machinery parts away. Alright, now we go back, set this up again, probably build another construction drone port or something. Just to make it go faster. Alright, we should be able to fit it in here. So there you go. And you get an HVG module a whole lot of towers. And a top part. And you get some pipe attachments there. And there. And there and there. And start. Alright. So that should be enough. We're just going to need to take that apart and put T intersection in. And take this apart and put a T intersection in. Then send that along. We need more pipelines. So let's head over here and grab more of those. All the way over here. Man, this would have been a relatively quick thing to set up if I hadn't underestimated how much it needs literally 3 times. Alright, pipelines, pipelines, pipelines. That ought to be these ones here, right? Yep, give me some more of those. What is my inventory full of? I have some biomass. Might as well destroy that. I don't need 2 technorods. I can save the space there. I'm going to use that logistics container at some point soon. May as well keep it. Oh, I just have a billion casting machines in my inventory. That's the problem. Alright, I did grab the pipelines, right? Yes. Alright, now we fly back over here. And we finish this off. Hopefully for good this time. If I need to place one more air tower thing, whatever, I'm going to be mildly upset. Alright, so while that's building, I can continue building out this. So this is 16, right? And that is going to be half of a belt. So let's get in another one. Which way are these facing? So I need these to be facing the opposite direction for convenience. So these all go in like this. And then these 2 combined should be 1 full belt of Technum rods. Alright, and we need to get rid of that. Did I put the recipe in? No, I didn't. I have to sneak in like this. The shift right mouse button. Alright, now I can place them all like this. Alright. Now we just put in the unloaders. And this can get all of these in. Alright, just a couple more. Alright, that doesn't need a loader there. These don't need to exist anymore either. Although, actually, I think we can probably... no, not quite. We would need 3 spaces there, and that only has 2. Actually, this might be a spot for a tier 1 loader container. Yeah. No, that's a 2x2. Dang it. Alright. Nothing that can be done. So this is just going to feed directly into that then, which is still ultimately not a problem. The problem is that this is still 40% construction progress. And I hope our construction materials source is not causing problems. It very well might be causing problems because I know it's very expensive to produce all those construction materials. We have been sort of just using them willy-nilly over here. Let's head over here and check. 1,343 construction materials. And seemingly none coming in off of the production lines because of lack of thermalite sheets, of course. Yep, we ran out of all of those. Which I was hoping we would get to fix this particular stream, but this is taking longer than I expected, so we might not. Which is very annoying. Do we even have enough to finish this, though? Because that might actually be a problem. Oh, we might not. I can, I guess, probably scavenge some thermalite sheets from the farmer bot production line, which isn't ideal. I really wish you could just buy thermalite sheets directly instead of having to process them. Alright. Where are the thermalite sheets? They're going to be over here, maybe? Yeah. So we have this. And let's make this box just a general sheet storage box. So it gets an input. Then that goes like that. And boom. So we're still going to send all of the sheets necessary into there, but any unnecessary sheets we can grab into this box and store for later use. Alright, we have a lot of money. Let's check this. Upgrade some of our robots some more. Farmer bot upgrade is always nice to see. That is like a significant chunk of our overall income. Then I think we are, when in doubt, pay off a bit more of the debt, because that will help us get more money faster. Alright, now let's grab these thermalite sheets. And hopefully this will be enough to make a decent, just like a couple of construction materials. But it's not going to be very efficient. The entire system there is designed that we're not going to be producing that many construction materials, because we just don't need that many. Alright, so we get over here. And somewhere around here. Alright, so you get filled up with all of the thermalite sheets you could ever want. And make sure all of these are filled up. Alright, so that's all that. So it'll help us produce some construction materials. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to be doing there. So this is sending out more construction materials than we're using. But we still do have a good 700 left. And we're just going to have to hope another normal batch of Thermalite sheets is going to be coming into the factory soon. So I can head over there and grab them. Alright, how close is this? Very close, less than 1,000 away. Which, I guess means we just need Thermalite sheets to show up. We might have enough construction materials as is. We might be able to rush things a little bit by grabbing them manually from the landing location. So this is a very slow supply of Thermalite sheets. So we head over here, and it's got a good couple stacks. Give me those. I'm just gonna make a partial delivery myself. And it'll delay the next real delivery of those, but that won't be coming for a while anyways. Alright, so we head over here. Yeah, that's still going. Now we need to find which one of these is labeled Thermalite sheets, and I think it's probably this one over here. Yes, so this is the Thermalite sheet supplier, meaning if we toss the sheets in there, then it's like that delivery happened. And those are going to go through, and very slowly. Not even slowly, it just takes forever because it's a long journey. They're going to make their way around and start producing more construction material, which should hopefully be enough to finish this off. If it doesn't have enough already. Oh, it does. There we go. So we have that finished. Alright, we need to grid connection you and activate. Alright, why is it like this? So now all of these are at 0% utilization. Is this just not turned on? It still says insufficient hot air. Is this pipe like not attached in properly, or maybe we need to like do something like this, get it into both of those. What if it takes a minute to turn it off. Adjacency bonus to work. Oh, look at that. There's an adjacency bonus. That's cool. So I guess I just did that accidentally. That's nice. And that reduces power consumption by a lot. And, alright, at this point, I officially have no idea why this isn't working. Like, I'm providing 300,000 hot air per minute. And that should be enough. Even if, like, this bonus plus 12.5% was not counted originally, it should still be enough. there like some... Is there something that I'm missing here? Oh, maybe these... Yeah. Alright, I need to get into these, but the safety railings aren't letting me. Alright, so that's what it was talking about. So these are input, hot air, input, hot air. Alright, now get that stairway down. It's turning on. Alright. After all that time, it is finally starting up. Alright, so we need to fix these. They're only accounting for one of the casting machines. So these need to be four-way intersections, and then we just need to send the other way across. So we take all of these out. Then we put the pipes in four-way intersection. And all of these get those. And they keep going. Just keep upgrading. Alright, now we get these to go across and into the second row. Alright, this is surprisingly awkward to get lined up properly. But not that bad. Just gotta aim carefully for each one. It might have been easier to just branch them off, like, as a single thing and just had another pipe just running along that way, but we're finished now. So that is that. Alright, so we have all of those. And they just output directly into this. So I do actually want to account for overflow here. So we say output priority to that one. Then this branches off this way and does something. What am I going to do with the rest of the Technim rods? Who knows? But I will be doing something with them. Oh, did I just hear... Did I just hear the sound of something happening, or was I just above a machine down? I was just above a machine down there. Okay, that's fine. This is still turning on. And I need more space for basically just another one of these, because that is 32 and I need a total of 60 in order to keep up. So we get another one of these, and it can just go directly there and make sure that it's lined up correctly. Technim rods. Yes, input is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then another one facing this way, which needs foundations to be filled in just a little bit more. So those all go, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, now we run the pipes. Oh, we're going to need more pipes. Let's head back and grab them. The blast furnace isn't going anywhere. Let's head back, grab some more pipes, and should be fine on other stuff. Oop, I accidentally shift-tabbed. Just gotta stop opening the Steam overlay. Alright, so we are over here. Pipes should be in this general vicinity. Here they are. Grab another 300 of them. And now we fly over this way. Alright, over here we go. And now we set up the pipes. So both of the inputs are here. So we need, I think we are just going to do it this way, where it's two separate lines that are just next to each other. More convenient to drag along that way. Oh, and these are starting. The blast furnace is apparently a success. So let's just finish up this last bit here. And then, I guess, observe. Gosh, they seem to all be making ominous sounds in perfect unison. Just a little bit weird. Alright, so then we just need to cut that, set it in that way, and come along over here. So now this goes down, and in there, and this has to be that, and then we have to send it over, which is apparently that one, and that one, and now these are all connected up. Alright, now I'm doing the thing last, which I probably should have done first, which is run this belt along there, and now all of these get output onto this belt, which we're going to need to figure out what we're doing with. So these all attach up. Almost got myself stuck there. Let's do this from up here. So now all of these go in. And across. Across we go. Alright, so now these are all hooked up, and I just need to put this belt into something, which for now we can I guess we can adjust this ever so slightly. So this goes along there, and then that goes in there. Alright, that is a whole lot of Technomrod production all set up and ready to go. And it looks like the cargo ships are mostly managing to move them. But I imagine with that speed we are going to fill up the Technomrod stores very soon. Yes, already, in fact. Alright, so now we need to figure out what we're doing with almost 2 full belts of Technomrods that cannot go into the space station. So, that is a good question. What do you do with literally almost 2,000 Technomrods a minute? Alright, so first off, I guess we can... we apparently don't have the resources for that. We can maybe flare stack the gas. Seems a bit wasteful, but what do I know? Alright, we can get some logistics container 3s and store them. Which is steel beams, advanced machinery parts. So we need some of those and some of those. So let's get 2 of those. And actually, is there a gigantic... I could have sworn there was like a giant storage depot thing that you could make here. The construction warehouse is just for construction materials. Alright. So now we head over here. And let's put down I just crafted another one instead of placing them. Alright, so we need to get both of these out. So actually we need this to go something like that, but then some of those are going to be that, and then that goes in there, and the rest goes out this way. Then we come back here, we put that in. Now this slopes up and comes over this way. Alright, now both of these can come over here. And is this... yeah, technically we have room to do this here. So then these come along here. And give me some space. Why do I have 7 of these? I definitely only meant to have like 2. Or whatever. So then we start by just filling these up. And actually no, we need more over here because we need the space. That. Then we get rid of that. And then both of those go into that. and both of them go into that. So this is going to store up a whole bunch of Technim rods, which is good because the space station has stopped accepting them, unsurprisingly. And this is dealing with the cement. It's very strange, probably computationally inefficient way. Alright, so we have that. We have this, which is buying us some time on keeping this running. But let's check over here. And there goes all that. Alright, it's been empty for a while. And yet it's just sitting there, seemingly not doing anything. Ah, there we go. Just takes a little bit every so often to fire off another batch. Alright, let's get a box on this as well, since I apparently have a billion of them. Make sure that this is going to be stably providing that for basically forever. These two should be fine since they're moving much smaller quantities of stuff, but let's actually just check storage. So that's full, obviously. Technum ore rubble is looking fine. Mineral rocks are looking fine. And what was the other one? Coked ignium is looking fine. Alright, cool. So this is all set up and working quite efficiently. And the only question is, yeah, these boxes are filled up like instantaneously. How do I stop all of this? How do I use all of this is my main question. And my answer to that is, I guess we build more things that use Technim rods. Like, we're never running out of them for robot purposes. We have lots of machines here that require electronic components, which we're already producing. I wish there was a way, like in Satisfactory, to look at a thing and like everything that it gets used for. It would be really nice to just use all of these Technim rods for something. Okay, I guess, so the next reasonable step would be to bring them over to the main bus over there, which is going to require some, shall we say, creative belting, but it's probably fine. So we're going to head over here. And so this is the Technim rod source I've been using this whole time. Just disconnect it. And send that over there. So now we have this as our source. You need to go drag mode backwards still. So we need to just bring this belt along here. This is going to be wildly wasteful in terms of belts. And it's also probably going to get in the way of absolutely everything. That's fine. So that. Then we go back here. And those get to output the rods, so that's that. So the main bus now has its supply of rods cut off and replaced by something better. Or not. Yeah, that's typical. Alright, so this has to go up like that to get over, and then back down one, and then in. Apparently that just doesn't work, so we need to send that like that, and then down and in. Alright, so that is disconnected, and there's no longer any need for all of this stuff. So that's cool. Big progress. And I do want to know what the power situation is like, because I know that thing is relatively hungry. Still fine. I mean, this is a lot, but we had lots of power set up beforehand. Looks like the batteries are going to fill with plenty of time before nighttime, and then just be a question of whether they last through the night, which they should. Alright, so that's that. But we still need to do something with all of these, because I mean, this is about to shut off like any second now. Gosh, if we just had the awesome sink, it would be very easy. Instead we have these crummy little incinerators, which are not very fun. Alright, I guess we tried flare stack. So if we put this flare stack like all the way over here, past everything, any available liquid gas at a rate of 3,000 liters per minute. Surely that will be enough. Alright, then we have that. And it says waiting, so it's not currently doing anything. So, I think if the casting machines shut down, then this will start. Oh no, I'm just dumb. I didn't connect it properly. All right, and that is doing that whether I want it to or not, which is not ideal. So instead, we need to deal with this on the solid side, where I can be certain that everything is going to actually be empty. So we need to, I don't know, we might just live with it. This is going to be inefficient, and it's going to turn off every so often. And I guess that's ultimately not a huge problem. It even says, right? Most cost efficiently when it's constantly producing and filled as much as possible. And and you waste hot air if it's overproducing and backing up. It says it's not too punishing in case you do not use it in an optimal way. So I guess we're just going to let it back up, and I think the hot air will still be produced and used, and it just won't do anything, which is probably fine. I wonder if I could set up, like, a data cable system to activate and deactivate the blast furnace based on, like, when our containers are filled or not, so that it has as long of a run of productivity as possible. That could be fun, actually. I bet I can do that. So if we want to do that, then we're going to want to have even more of these. So we have a whole bunch of those. And we are going to fill them up. So all of those go in, and then we get all of these. And all of these. Alright. So that should be even more storage. And let's see, how much storage is this? So this is 6,400, which means that... okay. At 6,400 a piece, and we're outputting somewhere in the vicinity of 2,000. This is like 3 minutes of storage per container. So we actually just need so many of these. Because I want this to be able to like run for an hour and then stop, and then run for an hour and then stop. And realistically, it's going to take so long for that to happen. Alright, so we need to go over here, grab some of those, and craft up a whole bunch. But then the other thing I need to do is I need to swap the way I grab the rods out of it. Because currently this is taking its rods like all the way from that as a first priority, when it should be taking its rods from all of these based on this new system that I'm setting up. So, also the way the loaders input and output might help me with this, or they might break this. We will have to see. So we need just a gigantic storage array here. Because obviously we don't want this turning on, running for 5 minutes, then turning off. That would be wasteful. So we have this. And that. Now we run these belts the rest of the way along. And like that. Then we put all of these inputs in. And so the data cable thing we're going to need to do is like turn on the blast furnace when this last one is empty. Or gosh, I think it prioritizes the distant ones. So we're going to need to turn on the blast furnace when that one is empty, and turn it off when that one is full. I think that should work. Also, we're gonna do that. Then all of these get to output. Alright, so we have all of those. So then this is our output belt. And we might want a second output belt for this. We're going to need more building materials and more belts, so let's head over and grab some. Building blocks, building blocks, building blocks. Where are you? Probably somewhere around here, yeah? Machinery components, building blocks, cool. Alright, grab a whole bunch of you. And we're just going to pick up that one and move it. Or maybe not even move it. Maybe we can just rewire it. No, I think moving it's going to be easier. So you go out. Not enough space in my inventory, of course. Let's make some space in my inventory by placing a gigantic thing over there. And now I should have more inventory slots left. Nope. Apparently not. Apparently not. Alright. Well, let's disconnect this from the rods. Then grab all of these and start throwing them into these boxes. No point wasting them. It's a whole lot. Don't want to waste that many. So we grab those. And we grab some more. And in you go. And we should be able to dismantle it now, surely. Yes. Alright, so now we place the shipping pad over here. Like that. And we split. So that this goes back there. And this gets told to configure from the factory to the space station technomods. And only bother with Tier 2 medium cargo ships. So there we go. And as I suspected, this prioritizes draining from the far side. So we have that. And that's all going to be one belt. But I actually do want this to be 2. So I'm going to need to go grab more belts because we're down to 15. So we need to grab a restock on belts and then make sure we have the capacity for 2 full belts outputting in case we ever get to the point where we're using that many at once. So we're over here now, and belts should be here. Alright, so grab those and make our way back. Also need to grab more loaders. So let's head over here. Do I even have the space for this? Why is my inventory so clogged all the time? I don't need hydraulic pistons. I hardly ever use them for anything. Get another stack of loaders instead. Alright, now we head back over here. And so this is going like that. We need a second belt of outputs. Which can go something like that before turning off. And this needs to get from all of these as well. So all of these get hooked up. Alright, so those are all hooked up. Then the second belt of output can go into there. And I think that's enough space for it to also split off and do something else, which is fine. Alright, so we have that. That is all good. Now we just need to set up the data cable system, which we also need to get some of these rods away. And there is an empty one. So, alright, I'll keep 2 stacks for crafting purposes, and then that is that. Alright, so we have that. That's all set up. All nice and good. Now the data cable system. So we need to... we are going to need a bunch of those. And then we're going to need to do some of this weird, confusing stuff. Alright, so this gets a reading, and this gets a reading. Then this cable comes along this way. And alright, I need to read how the data cables work. Data cable system. Alright, so signal values do not persist. They are only existent as long as they're continuously written by any source. Yeah, okay. So what we need to do is processor, evaluator, and source. Okay. Okay, logistics containers broadcast their inventory to the data network. Therefore, you don't need to configure the logistics container. Yeah. Alright, and actually, I think, for the sake of this, I want to always have a little bit of a buffer on both sides. So I actually want to care about those two. Alright, so we're not configuring loaders, we're configuring the blast furnace. And probably the hot air generators as well. So this is the signal that says when it is full, right? So when this has a bunch of stuff in it, we know we're full and we turn off the blast furnace. Actually, can I just see what the evaluator does? Just if I like plop you down somewhere. Actually, it would probably be helpful to plop it down on an actual data cable. Alright, so if you just like, you go there, and the data cable goes through it. Data evaluator. Alt MB configure data system. input and data operation. Output constant. So input means it reads the selected output signal and uses... Alright. Right, so we can set custom signals here. So like this can be 1, and this can be a signal for items, which would be Technimrods is less than what would this be? No, it would probably be equal to, and then constant 0. So if Technimrods are empty in this, then it outputs a 1 signal of 1, meaning it's time to start turning it on again. Then this one, let's take that back a bit, put another data evaluator there, and we do the same thing, but opposite. So if this Technimrods equals constant 6400, it outputs signal 2 at 1. So now I think we are safe to combine these two into a data cable that's telling a 0, it's telling a 1 if it's empty and a 2 if it's full. So now we just bring this cable along here, and we actually need to get this to wherever the blast furnace's configuration spot is, if it's anywhere. Which it very well might not be. If I were to be a blast furnace's configuration spot, I would be like around here somewhere. And I sure don't see it. Alright. I think I'm gonna have to just Google this. So if we go over here, like the loaders and unloaders and everything, they light up green where the attachment point is, whereas this one is not apparently lighting up green anywhere. I wonder if that's like a thing that I had to enable. Okay, so this is much smaller. Does this have a data cable attachment point? It's gotta be like there, right? No. Is this one anywhere? No. Maybe I can just stick it like that. And, alright. Let's go back to checking the data cable system. Where is that? Instructions. Yep. And I really wanted to shut down machines once a container is filled to a certain limit. That's what I want to do. And connect to a machine. But how do we connect to a machine? Alright, open a tablet, point at the connected machine, and press Alt left click. V, Alt left click. Okay, is that just not, it's just not an option for this? That's very annoying, because this is exactly the sort of thing you'd want to use it for. Alright, is there any way to, like, approximate doing that? I guess I could, like, cut the power? Is that an option? Can I attach a data cable to a power pole? No, I can't. Oh, this is so close to being able to be useful for once, but apparently not. So I can't cut the power to the machines, and I can't interact with them directly, which means I guess I just have to come around here and turn it off and on every so often, which is annoying. Alright, I'm going to have to Google to see if there's any workaround that I can do. Like, I could turn off all of these machines, but then this just stays, and that doesn't do me any good. And all of these are megastructures, so I can't turn any of them off. Right. Alright, well, I think we're going to end the stream here. Despite the fact that we have failed to make this very cool and automated setup, we do still have a gigantic thing here, which is quite useful. And these are all still running. How are these all still running? Oh, they're just starting to fill up now? Wait, actually, why are these... Oh, I never put in the second row of inputs. I'll do that. Let's make sure that both machines have their fun here, so that the entire thing can run properly. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we had a lot of hiccups along the way, but we have managed to set up a blast furnace, and it's not fully automated turning off and on again, but it is a blast furnace, and it's very efficient, producing a whole bunch of Technomods for us. So I think that's going to be about it for today. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. I stream Foundry on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. And I also play Satisfactory on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time. So if you're interested in factory building games, then make sure to follow and stop by then. I will see you